Friends, as we are wrapping up this amazing series to reset and reboot our lives, our homes, ourselves, all of it, declutter, get things where we want them to be, the last room we're gonna tackle here is the kids' room. So for all of us that have been checking these off and working through our spaces, today I'm gonna show you exactly how I tackle the clutter when it comes to our kiddos. If we set up a system that is too difficult for our kids to keep up with, they're going to fail every time. And so sometimes I think we see on Pinterest and even YouTube, we see these amazing playrooms and everything is so detailed and all of that, but it's really overwhelming for our kids, especially younger ones, to try to keep up with. And so we're really just setting them up to fail from the beginning, and we don't want to be doing that with our kiddos. So now I know we've probably all seen those hilarious reels where it's some lady in some beautiful, beautiful home and goes, oh, do you want to know how to keep a perfectly clean home with, husband and kids and all the stuff? And then it's like she kicks them out of the house. It's like, get rid of your family. That's how you keep everything nice and clean. Ha ha ha, it's funny, I get it. But I think there's a reality to this. When you have kids, it can be very overwhelming very quickly at the amount of stuff. And I think it's because life today has really normalized the mass excess. You talk with anyone who has kids and it's, keeping up with all the toys, all the stuff. Kids get these bad attitudes and the sibling rivalries and all these negative things that come with it. And it really does come down to having too much. Our poor kiddos don't even know where to start. We have all these issues with, they don't pick up after themselves. They don't clean up their toys. Honestly, it's probably because they have so much, they don't know where to start and it's overwhelming to them. Now they're little humans. They may not realize that it's the excess of stuff that's causing it to be overwhelming. I would actually be kind of shocked if they did. That's a lot for a small human to try to figure out when most of us grown adults can't figure out that it's the clutter and the excess and the stuff that is causing the issues that we have. This is what we started doing with our kids, and we've shared on YouTube for the past 6 years. So if you've been around, you've seen these videos come out before, but we've done this in a few different ways, and I just want to share it with you so that way it can be a blessing for you in your home, depending on how many kids you have, their ages, and exactly what you're dealing with and the amount of just stuff or clutter, chaos, life, whatever that's happening. You need to try these out and figure out which one works best for you. We have taken away all the toys. Sometimes you need a deep reset. Sometimes there's too much going on. There's too much bickering, there's too much fighting. Nobody can keep up with the stuff. There's toys everywhere. It's just overwhelming. Sometimes the best thing to do is to literally clear everything out. Even if it's just for a period of time. Hey, let's clear everything out for a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. Let's see how we're doing. You clear everything out. You can bag it up. I'll show you guys how we sort through that process. And then go spend time together. Do stuff together, go on walks together. For us, our kids, as soon as it gets warm, they want to go to local streams and go play in the water. They want to go hiking. We go to the library. We do things together, okay? That might be one part. Another thing that we've done is where I will sweep out all of their stuff. We literally dump it into a massive pile. It takes up the entire floor. And I let them pick out 5 of their most cherished toys, okay? Put those in a basket. 5, 10, you're right, pick a small number, something that is easy for them to handle. Let them pick out their favorites. If you want to, you can get a box and let them pick out 5 to 10 more favorites, and then you can rotate between the two. The point is to deep minimize, to deep simplify, so that way they don't have so much that they're trying to keep up with. And then the third option is going to be what we do here today. It's very similar to those first two, right? Super extreme would be getting rid of everything. Maybe you've got some bad attitude, you got a lot going on. It's not a punishment, it's a reset so that we can reevaluate what we truly need in our lives. The second being kind of that mid-tier where you say, okay, our cap is 5 items, 10 items, that's all we're going to keep. We need to work through the rest. And then the third option here, we have 3 girls that all share a bedroom. And so as you're going to see, it can get dirty and overwhelming very quickly. It's a small bedroom, 3 girls. But on the upside, it means that one day of tackling it, we can get it all done, and it is looking picture perfect. It's not overwhelming. We've dealt with all the clutter. We've gotten them a nice system put together very, very quickly. And so I'm gonna show you guys the different steps that we go through here. Our youngest is 6, our oldest is 13. And so We're going to tackle this all here today because we do this frequently. They're used to this process and they really do look forward to it. I will say that when we first started minimizing our kids' stuff, when I would go in and say, all right, we're going to minimize your toys, we would do this regularly. Every season we would go through and I'd say, all right, pick out your top 5 favorite things. Usually in the moment, it was a lot of grumbling. A lot of, I hate this is awful, you're taking away all our stuff, what are we gonna do? I love all this, blah, 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 stuff like that, right? Every single time when we got through with it, even my most upset child was so thankful because now her stuff was easy to keep up with. The room wasn't overwhelming. They could pull everything out and play and put it all away in 5 minutes. So it really is something that is worth it to push through, make adjustments as needed to work for your family, but I'm telling you, you're going to reap these rewards. So I'm gonna finish up my coffee. Let's get back to the girls' room. I'm gonna show you where we're starting and how we're going to go through this entire process. Room, which we did kind of make over for them a little bit with them getting older, needing a better setup. We got this amazing 3-person bunk bed. They've got a space, our oldest has a space for her desk and kind of craft supplies underneath it here in the loft area. I recently redid their closet to accommodate the storage of, 3 girls' wardrobes, which we adhere to a minimalist approach on a kind of capsule wardrobe for them, but still 3 kids, it takes up a lot of space. And then just all the toys, all the stuff, all the things that they have here in their personal room. So I did talk with my girls to make sure they were okay if we came in and did this today. And I will say for them that because we knew we were getting ready to do this, we have not done any specific deep cleaning type things in probably the past few weeks that we've been kind of tackling the whole house. So the girls were like, man, our room is kind of messy right now. And I'm like, yes, but it's okay because we were trying to get to it to work on this. And so just a little heads up so y'all know that. So these are the steps that I follow in all of the spaces and it really works so well. I feel like especially here in the girls' room, you really are going to notice these steps when tackling a space that usually has so much in it like the kids' room. And the first step would be to clear everything out. Just get everything pulled out of the spaces. And so we are going to strip all of the bedding. All of the toys are going to get pulled out because our girls share a room. We're going to kind of group them by child. So that way it is a little bit easier to go through. And we're not mixing everything up. So Lily will gather all of her stuff. She's 13, she's old enough, so she's gonna sort through that herself. She has some parameters I've given her, like things need to either be neat and tidy on the desk, they need to fit in your kind of shelving unit that you have, or she does have one under the bed. It's one of those like clear plastic containers that you roll under and it can store stuff. She can put stuff in there as long as the lid can still be closed properly. So I like to give our kids a lot of freedom to hold on to the things that are important to them. I just give them some parameters, like they can have as many clothes as can neatly and nicely fit into their little closet organization system that we have. She can have as many books as she wants, as long as they neatly and nicely fit into the bookcase that we have here in their room, things like that. So I don't mind her having stuff, especially she's older. She can discern through that herself and she needs to. That's a good skill set for her to have. It just has to fit neatly and nicely in the parameters that we give. So she'll work on her stuff. Virginia is going to help me get her and her sister's stuff out because the youngest is having a fun weekend at her grandmother's house this week. So it might make it a little bit easier for us to film through this because I've got a few less hands in the pot as we do this. So step 1, get everything removed out of the space. If you're taking the toys out and you're sharing a room or you're doing multiple rooms at once, just have them kind of group their stuff into one pile. Ready? Let's get to it. girls were amazing. They helped me out. We got everything cleared out of the room, out of the space. And it really makes such a big difference because step 2 here is to deep clean the space. It is impossible to deep clean when you are trying to like maneuver around all of the stuff at the same time. It really is just so frustrating and so much harder to clean when you're trying to clear the clutter to get to the actual cleaning. So while everything is out of the space, I'm going to start cleaning. And this is exactly what I do. It makes it so simple, but you get that like real deep spring cleaning, like nitty gritty. Every piece of it makes such a big difference. I like to take my favorite home cleaning products. They are all natural, non-toxic, work great, smell amazing, and actually the last company still manufacturing all of their goods right here in America. I will leave a link down below if you guys are interested and want to see what we use. I love using this because I know that everything we're breathing in, right? There's no toxic fumes. It's not hard on my hands. It doesn't destroy our skin. The kids can be around it. The animals can be around it. There's nothing bad they're going to run into, and it works so well. That's just like the icing on the cake to all of it. And so I like to take my favorite stuff here from the Wellness Company and kind of pre-mix my stuff so I'm just ready to go. I can come into the space and I can go for it. And so what I like to do is I have one of the O-Cedar mops that you fill up the bucket and it spins it and gets it all ready for you. And so I go ahead and put a little bit of cleaner into some warm water, come in here with my mop. That is going to be what I use to clean ceiling, walls, trim, baseboard, you name it. I personally start with the walls, working from top to bottom in a clockwise rotation so I don't miss anything. Side note, I am going to go ahead and start a load of laundry before I start any of this. So that way the laundry is going with all of their bedding while I'm cleaning and working. Once I have the walls and everything done, then I go ahead and do the surfaces. So that is wiping down the bed, cleaning the bookshelves and the shelves in the closet, any of the horizontal surfaces that you have in the space. I get all of those good and clean next. Again, working from top to bottom in a clockwise rotation. And then last but not least, I tackle the floors. I pull out my amazing Ultenic vacuum mop. I love this thing more than anything else in the whole wide world. Again, I put my favorite natural cleaner right into that. They have a great floor cleaner at the Wellness Company, and it's all natural, non-toxic. Babies can crawl on it, animals can be on it. You're not going to have any issues. I put a cap full of that into my Ultenic mop, and it gives me beautifully clean floors. It's so nice and easy. So. The room is so nice and clean now. From the walls, the bed, the shelving, the flooring, everything has been super deep cleaned, which I love. Now, before we get into looking exactly how we're breaking down the kids' toys, clearing out that clutter, really minimizing there, yes, I'm swapping bedding in the washer. Every time I hear it ding, I go and swap it out since I have 3 kiddos worth of bedding to get through today. We used to have their room painted bright white, and I loved it. And the girls, when we did their room, they really wanted to go with something a little bit darker and kind of change it up a little bit. So we got this beautiful paint that we absolutely love the color of. Unfortunately, with a bunch of little girls, a bunch of cats, toys, things going on, it does get scraped up. And so I figured, since I have everything emptied out and everything good and cleaned down, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a good shake and touch up some paint. While that dries, we'll go in and separate the toys. So let me touch this up real quick, and then I'll show you how we're separating and minimizing down their toy clutter. Sorting through our kids' stuff can be so overwhelming, and so I like to kind of break it up and keep it simple here. First, what I do here, I have all of Olivia, our 6-year-old, I have all of her worldly treasures right here, and I'm going to sort this into a couple of categories. Again, I think the more we involve our kids with this, the better, so that way they learn how to do this process. I will tell you, our oldest, who is now 13, she is fantastic at this process because we've been doing it since she was about 5 years old as well. So the more you do it, the better it is. I'm gonna go ahead and just show you it here by myself so we can actually get through all of this. The first thing I'm going to do, because I have all of our stuff here in one pile, remember I said each girl took their stuff and put it into their own pile, as the older girls are going through it on their own, with the limitation that they have a very specific structure of what their items can fit into and where they can go. So as long as the things can fit in there with it closed properly, we're good to go. So for Olivia here, I'm going to go through her stuff. There are things like laundry wrapped around baby dolls, her sister's deodorant that I found in here. There's some trash items that I found literally just sitting here in all of this. So I'm going to go through first and kind of pick out any trash and laundry. In the trash category, if I find toys that are broken, they're missing limbs, something isn't working in it, I toss that as well. I'm not holding on to stuff that is broken, random ribbons and various things. So first I'm going to go through and I'm going to separate this, pull out trash, pull out laundry, and any broken toys. Now that trash, laundry, broken toys have all been removed, I am left with a slightly smaller pile in which I'm going to break up into a few categories here. Now again, depending on how you want to do this, whether the really top strictness one where you want to just get rid of all toys for a week, a month, you just need to step away, you guys need to deep clean, deep detox, you can go ahead and take the toys and put them into a box, a container of some sort, set it in the garage, the basement, out of sight, out of mind, while you process through that and work on the relationship aspects and the root of the matter in your home and with your kids. Maybe now is the point here that you take, and I love getting just cheap baskets from Dollar Tree, so that way if they get broken, something happens to them, I'm down $1.25, it's not the end of the world. I just get these so that way they can all match, and I find ones that fit well depending on where I want to keep them. Like these will slide in and fit onto the bookshelf, that way she can keep all of her stuff together. But you could give your kids their designated basket and say, okay, pick out your top 5 favorite things. Or if you want to do 2 baskets and, you know, every Saturday they can swap out the baskets to have something different, 5 items, 10 items, whatever you would like to do, you can do that here. Or what I'm going to do, because our girls are a little bit older and they are doing much better with this, I'm going to now kind of sort out the toys that are here, now that trash and random laundry and broken toys are pulled out, into a few different categories. Like for our daughter, she has all of her Legos already all gathered here in her Lego box. She has a lot of Barbies and Barbie-esque things, and so I'm gonna pile all of her Barbies and then Barbie accessories together. And then she does have a handful of kind of just regular toys and some baby dolls and kind of make-believe type things. So I'm going to kind of break her toys down into just a few simple categories. Remember, We don't want to give our kids a system that they can't keep up with on their own. Our 6-year-old has 3 baskets that she puts stuff in, no more. I don't give them a whole bunch of things with a really intricate organizational system that they're honestly not going to be able to keep up with. And so very, very simple. I'm going to break it down into her categories of Barbies, baby dolls, and kind of like make-believe type stuff, and just kind of break it up into 3 categories, and then make sure that the items we keep are, yes, her top favorites, and they all fit nicely and neatly into this basket, and they're not overflowing. If the basket is full, it means that we have more than enough. We don't need to keep anything else. And so I'm going to go ahead and sort through this here between the 3 categories, keeping her top favorites here, and then we will be really looking good with a system that even a 6-year-old can upkeep. And we can see what we don't need to be holding on to, because our favorite stuff is all in here, and if it doesn't fit, then we probably don't need to keep it. So once you get it whittled down to what you're actually going to keep, and honestly, I keep my favorite non-toxic cleaner there with me, so I can just spray a microfiber cloth and like wipe as we go, so everything is nice and clean. And even for especially those with real tiny ones, everything's safe. You don't have to worry about the residue or anything being left behind that's going to make our kiddos sick. And so that's why I always keep this one on hand. Wipe everything down as I'm going, so that way it's nice and clean. I whittled everything down to just a few baskets. They're just small Dollar Tree baskets that'll fit perfectly here in the space and be easy for her to keep up with. If we set up a system that is too difficult for our kids to keep up with, they're going to fail every time. And so sometimes I think we see on Pinterest and even YouTube, we see these amazing playrooms and everything is so detailed and all of that, but it's really overwhelming for our kids, especially younger ones, to try to keep up with. And so we're really just setting them up to fail from the beginning, and we don't want to be doing that with our kiddos. So something that's simple that will work for them in this season is really important. The space is clean. All the paint has been touched up. It looks beautiful. I'm on my last load of laundry with getting their bedding done. I'm gonna go ahead and put the stuff in here how it should be, and then we'll make beds in a minute. I like to be hands-on with the kids when we're putting stuff back to how it should be here in the room, so that way they understand the level of which I'm expecting when I say, hey, is your room clean? We try to make sure that we have time throughout our day, each and every day, as part of our rhythm and routine, that they go and get their room back to ready. So before they can go play outside, if they've been playing in their room, they need to get their room back to ready. But it really helps to get them set up to say, hey, when I say back to ready, this is what I mean. This is what a clean room looks like. So that way they have a clear understanding of what your expectations are. So I'm gonna go ahead, bring in her stuff, get it set up the way that it should all fit and all work. So that way we know at least it's possible. And she sees for me what I'm expecting when I say, hey, go make sure your toys are picked up. Been a busy day of working to get all of this done. Like I said, for us, ours is a lot because it's 3 girls that share a room. It's a lot of work, but it's also a huge reward when you get it all done. So the big girls have gone through their stuff. The last of the bedding is in the dryer. We're gonna get their beds remade. I've got everything nice and tidy down here on the bookshelf with the toys and the books and some drawing supplies and things that they want to have on hand. Everything is so clean. The trash bags are stuffed full of the stuff that we were ready to get out of, which always feels so good. And so the last piece here for us, and again, break this up into multiple days if you need to. Don't think you need to get this all done in one. We just went through our girls' stuff here really recently. So for us here, this is gonna be just a real quick tidy. But the last little bit here is their closet. Now, I'm not a big fan of dressers because I feel like they just get crammed with so much stuff and then it just becomes a mess. It drives me crazy. I don't like it. And our girls, since they share a room, have one teeny tiny little closet. And so what we did is I redid the closet it in our master bedroom because I loved how theirs turned out so well. But they have this one teeny tiny little closet, and we put a like $35 Walmart bookcase in it, and then put the little just cube organizers. We got ours at Dollar Tree, so they're super cheap, that they each have a couple cubes to keep their stuff in. We keep minimal capsule wardrobes for everybody, just going to the thrift store seasonally as needed to replace items that, you know, they've outgrown or they need new ones. So we really don't hold on to a lot. I do a load of laundry every day, so we never get behind on laundry, and I'm not dealing with piles and piles of kids' clothes all over the place, especially with having 4 kids. That was just too much for me. I don't like having all that stress to try to keep up with. And so each kid has their little section in here that I'll show you. We are getting ready to add some extendable poles in here. So my older daughter, she'll have a couple things that, couple racks that she can hang stuff on for her items that she likes to have hung, but we keep it very minimal, very simple. So we're gonna go out. I had them set all their little cubbies out on the dining room table. My husband's gonna cook dinner. And so we're just gonna kind of sort through, tidy those up. Like I said, for us, it's gonna be super duper simple because we just did this. But if you need to go through the same process and deep minimize all the kids' clothes, that might be a good thing to put here on your list to tackle once the toys and clutter are all put together. Pull all the clothes out, keep only the items they truly need, let everything else go and be a blessing to someone who could use it, and then you can put things back in a nice, simple, and organized manner. So here is that Walmart bookcase that we got. They were like $35. I went ahead and put this in here. We were hoping 2 would fit, but their closet is actually so small we couldn't fit 2. We could only fit 1. So we can fit a couple baskets on each shelf. So our youngest, she keeps 2 down there. The older girls, they kind of split up between these up here, and everybody has plenty of space. And then we're gonna add a couple extendable clothing racks right there, so that way they can hang up some things that, you know, like I said, our oldest would like to prefer to be able to hang up to go with that. But otherwise, it's really simple, it's really minimal, but it absolutely works. We did it. We successfully got the kids' room decluttered, minimized, deep cleaned, reset, and ready to go. We're getting ready here to just kind of put the kids' bedding back on. I like getting everything all tucked in nice and cozy. I like to help them when we wash their sheets, just get everything tucked in really well, again, to set them up knowing that they know what I'm expecting when I say, hey, you know, have you made your bed? But then it's also teaching them how to make a bed, how to keep a room, how to tidy their clothing and keep their stuff in order. And so they all came in and they were so excited to see everything just like all done and put together. I love how much they appreciate it. Again, this is something we've done for years. Minimizing, straightening, having them involved in the process, and seeing them as they're getting older and how much they appreciate a well-kept space is really quite special. So hopefully this was an encouragement for you and your family to tackle those spaces, even the really overwhelming ones like all the kids' toys and clothes, but also hopefully it'll start to open up those kind of deeper areas for the parents, and maybe even conversations with the grandparents and more, where you start to think about how much you're consuming from the get-go. Do our kids really need tons and tons of toys? I think it's so much more important to keep it minimal, to have things that have, you know, and lots of encouragement for open-ended play, and then really spend time together. Get outdoors, do things together, let them explore and adventure and be creative, versus having so much to play with that they don't even really know what to go and play with. So hopefully this has been a blessing for you and your family. Again, check out this playlist right up here where we are going through every area of our home and our lives to reset it and get ourselves back to a lovely, lovely life that we all deserve. I'll see you over there. Bye, friends.